I don't know if you guys are aware. There's been a BBC host, yeah, the BBC, and I'm not talking about the kind you see on Pornhub, that called for literally a final purge. Exact freaking words. What do you think of when you hear purge, right? Of gamers over all this Sweet Baby Inc. controversy. If you've been looking online, Sweet Baby Inc. is essentially the new Gamergate. It's been called Gamergate 2.0 by lots of journalists, lots of media outlets. You've seen people like Kotaku and The Verge write defense articles. You've seen journalists like Alyssa Mercante just basically go nuts, become completely unhinged over this situation. But looking at this tweet from this BBC host, there's quite a bit of a concern on this. And I don't like this. I don't like where hosts of prominent media outlets and journalism are going at. It's almost like they're trying to censor and control the narrative, which is why this is being compared to Gamergate. There's some kind of like weird conspiracy going on where they have to have total control over what we are consuming as far as video games go. Why is the world of video games so weird? When you take a look at all the companies, all the figureheads, all the people involved with it, and you look at the Sweet Baby Inc. situation that's been happening over the years, there's been so many people, individuals, organizations that attempt to influence the gaming industry. Like, it's almost like everybody's Gollum and they want the one ring to rule them all. And for some odd reason, there's always been this side of some kind of like agenda that always wants to try to get rid of toxic gamers, that, you know, they're too violent, they're too aggressive, they need to be eliminated. They're considered way too bad vibes to be playing video games for whatever reason. And I don't know why it goes so deep, but looking at all these key figures now, the people involved with Sweet Baby, the people involved with Kotaku, people involved with The Verge, now with the BBC, there definitely seems to be something deeper going on here. And I don't know. Jules Hardy is the individual, their presenter at BBC. They expressed support for a group called Black Girl Gamers, which is a company that partners with brands that want to change gaming from the inside out. The usual diversity, inclusivity spiel that we've been seeing for quite some time, which on paper, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with diversity, but it's when you're going about the way that Sweet Baby Inc. is doing, the way that Alyssa Mercante is going, that's where it becomes a problem. Now, Hardy, their tweet is next level. When you see that they're calling for a final purge of gamers, specifically referencing Gamergate, this is kind of crazy. And it's being met with a lot of criticism and backlash from gamers. I've seen other people give their takes, and I wanted to talk about it. We've been covering everything involving this Sweet Baby Inc. stuff that I feel I had to give my two thoughts. And I honestly think it's concerning to see somebody that's a host of the BBC make such a divisive statement, especially because they're not exactly that small of an unknown public figure. They literally work for the BBC. They have influence. They're able to sway a huge amount of influence in the gaming industry. And when you look at video games, the main consumer, I know people told me don't say this because it's a word that capitalism and corporations made, consumer, call it gamers or customers instead, right? Gamers, they're a huge part of gaming. Yeah, we're the ones that are buying the video games. We're the ones spending the money. And ultimately, our opinion and our feedback is crucial for developers. Now we're starting to see a lot of these developers try to deplatform, try to censor us, try to silence us. The people that are buying their products, the people that are buying their games, like the Steam group, Sweet Baby Inc. Detected, was trying to be deplatformed by Sweet Baby Inc. They didn't want to hear that feedback. They didn't want to hear any of that criticism. It's almost like these people are controlling the gaming industry and they're calling to remove any kind of negative feedback. And I think that's disrespectful and damaging to the gaming community as a whole. Imagine that you run a burger stand and you don't want to hear any feedback of how your hamburgers taste. And if they negatively respond to your food, you try to silence them and deplatform them. I know it's a ridiculous comparison, but that's what these developers are doing. They're making games full of agendas, full of political commentary in them. And then when people are speaking out against it, it becomes a problem to the point where they're going above and beyond to try to silence people. I think diversity of opinion is essential to anything, to any conversation. I'm always open to hearing all sides of the story, but this whole Sweet Baby Inc. situation is just becoming next level, like probably farther than the original Gamergate was. If you really sit back and take a look at it, we have the U.S. government actually funding that nonprofit group called Take This, and it's wild. There's supposed to be disagreements in conversations. It's crucial for constructive criticism to be around, because that's how you open a dialogue. That's how you talk. That's how you basically come to a mutual understanding. If you're in an echo chamber, if you're calling for final purges of gamers, that's a huge red flag. I think we need to speak up against this, guys. If you're a gamer and you're part of the gaming community and you don't want your video games ruined, you need to speak up against people like this BBC host who's just causing nonsense. It's crucial at this point. And to me, it's very alarming. I know to some people, they don't think it is. But no, this tweet calling for a final purge, like, what do they mean? Are we never allowed to play video games again because we're too toxic if we're speaking out against it? Like, how exactly are they going to purge us? Are they going to permaban us from any kind of, like, gaming platform that we could sign up on? Are we going to get our PSN accounts and our Xbox Live accounts terminated permanently because we have an opposing opinion from what the BBC and Kotaku and The Verge have, and Sweet Baby Inc.? Why does it have to be one extreme medium then instead of having both? Why does it have to be like their way or the highway? It's a product that we're consuming. And when you're calling for a final purge, that's some weird verbiage to be using in this instance when you think about video games. And they want to label gamers toxic. When you see Alyssa Mercante with her tattoo saying all men are enemies, you see how Kindred from Sweet Baby Inc. is essentially being racist against white people. You saw the CEO of Unleashed Games make some kind of like weird statement that wait till all these people see that there's no white people in our alpha build of a game. They're being spiteful. They're the ones trying to antagonize gamers, and they're also labeling them as toxic. It's wild to see, and it's very alarming. And yeah, oh, Eric, it's just video games, chill out. No, it starts with this. You give them an inch, they take a mile. It's going to go into all the other entertainment mediums that we have. It's already in film industry and TV industry when you see all the weird stuff going on. This is just concerning. A final purge. What do you guys think about this? Let me know down below. I think this is very sad to see.